It's time for another closer look at a key Kentucky Derby contender. And here's your host, Magic.
Welcome back to RaceNews.com. I'm Magic. He's Aaron Halterman, and he's here to talk to us about three long shots for the 2022 Kentucky Derby who might be flying under the radar a little bit. We're a little less than 2 months out from it, Aaron. So let me know, who are you looking at Kentucky Derby-wise that isn't getting a lot of hype right now?
Yeah, we got three for you, like you said, and it's what I've done with this is it's three horses that have 0 points going into the last round of preps because we're here, right? Like we're into the last 3 weeks. We have an off week here as we record this, but then you got the Louisiana Derby and then all the big ones after that. So I chose three horses that have 0 points whatsoever. And so number one on my list, how about a horse I own in the fantasy league, We the People? I think you better keep an eye on this horse. I don't know if he's good enough, but he sure has looked sharp in 2 races. We the People for Rudy Brissett broke the maiden on debut at Oaklawn Park, comes back on March 12th and dominates again in an allowance race at Oaklawn Park. And kind of, you could tell, rode the horse as, hey, save a little bit. We got a bigger race coming up. Didn't really, extend that horse out, and he still galloped away from them. We're looking probably Arkansas Derby or Bluegrass for We the People next. The Arkansas Derby is going to have Secret Oath, the filly in the race. We know that for sure now. But past that, it's a little dicey. Who's going to come, who's not? You just don't know. But he would fit in pretty well there. In the Bluegrass, that field's kind of really up in the air. Nobody's really committed to that one. So We the People, I think, is a very interesting horse moving forward, and one that's really flying under the radar right now.
Trainer Rudy Brissett, who's very easy to root for, nice guy, and a pedigree by constitution out of a Tis Now mare that says, just keep bringing more distance, baby. This horse is going to love it.
Yeah, with We the People, he does kind of feel like that horse that as they get longer, he'll get closer and closer to the lead and really just kind of grind it out. All right, number 2 on the list. Let's go with a Brad Cox trainee. How about Zozos? I really like this horse. Broke the maiden at Fairgrounds, and then Brad Cox shipped the horse up to Oaklawn to run an allowance. And we covered this on one of our Oaklawn preview videos. And thank God I picked Zozos, or that would have been embarrassing because he comes to Oaklawn and he won by 10, 12 lengths, as bad as he wanted to win. He did. Just a blowout performance. Important to note, the second place finisher of the maiden race came back to win at Oaklawn Park in a similar fashion. Just a dominating maiden special weight win for that Steve Asmussen runner. So Brad Cox and Zozos, number 2, obviously a one and done prep situation, no points. Maybe Arkansas Derby, maybe Louisiana Derby, maybe Bluegrass. I've heard all 3 for this horse.
Where are you going with number 1? Because there's an interesting trend with these first 2. I want to see if it keeps going.
Oh, okay. Well, number 1 is a horse I have liked all the way back since his debut. When would that have been? October or November, one of the two of last year. Cyberknife. Magic, I can't quit Cyberknife. He has totally screwed me a few times. He's totally helped me cash a few times as well. He's another Brad Cox trainee. He actually was in the LeCompte, and he sucked. He was awful. He has some, he's got a little screw loose. And so Brad Cox has said as much, right? And so then he backs him off. He runs on Risen Star Day, but it's in an allowance. Backs him off, and this horse, he took off. He dominated that allowance race. Depending on which speed figure you like to look at, and listen, right now, speed figures just throw them all up in the air. The timing issues with the tracks, and we could do another video on that. I'm not going to get into that, but depending on which speed figure you look at, Cyberknife got either a better or similar speed figure to Epicenter, who won the Risen Star. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's as good as Epicenter. I'm saying is he has a ton of ability, and when he gets his mind right, he can show it. He's lost some races where he should not have lost. He just act like an idiot and got beat against inferior competition. You just kind of have to draw a line through some of those weaker races that he's had, because when he's really right and he really runs well, he's tough. So I really like Cyberknife. The last point on him, Brad Cox, they had an article on him. I don't remember what it was. Sorry in advance for whoever. I'm not gonna credit you because I don't remember. But there was an article, and they asked him about his Derby prospects. He said, "I have shit, basically. I don't have much." But he said, "You have one." I really like Cyberknife. So he's number 1 for me. I think if he puts it all together in one of these preps, he can make an impact.
So that's two Brad Cox trainees, and Cyberknife, a son of Gunrunner, will be, if he goes to Louisiana Derby and faces Epicenter in that spot. Epicenter runs for Winchell Thoroughbreds, and trainer Steve Asmussen, who campaigned Gunrunner, and the Louisiana Derby, I believe, was Gunrunner's victory for him. So it'd be very interesting for that showdown from a storyline perspective. The trend with the other two, Aaron, neither of those horses you picked debuted until they were 3 years old. And other than Justify in 2018, we haven't seen any horse win the Kentucky Derby after not debuting until age 3 since Apollo in the late 1800s. So an interesting trend, but there are also no Bob Baffert horses in the Triple Crown Trail right now. So kind of an odd year anyways. I guess all of those trends, we can just kind of chuck them out like a lot of the timing issues.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And listen, who did I have number 1? A horse that had started at 2, Magic. See, you got to build it up like that. No, I mean, I think that's a trend that as the years go on and the campaigns of these horses really start to shift and change, I'm not saying we're going to see it a lot, but I would wager in the next, let's just say 10 years, we see another horse that didn't start at 2 win. Because I think more than anything, it's just the changing of how the horses are campaigned, what the goals of the owners are, I think are ever changing as well. So I think it's a trend we could see happen. I'm not picking We the People or Zozos to win the Kentucky Derby, but I do think they're kind of the next generation of kind of those horses that are going to be able to at least make an impact, at least maybe get to the race. And the other big thing, these last preps, it's 100 for the winner, 40 for second, 20 for third, and 10 for fourth. Well, used to, or I shouldn't say used to, I should say normal years, with that Baffert thing not being the case this year. If you had 0 points and you got third in one of those races, you couldn't get in. I think if one of these horses or both these horses, or I guess all three, get third in these preps, they can get in with 20 points this year. And I think it's another factor when you're looking at these last preps. So if you can get third, you still have a pretty good shot to get in.
Well, and Bodemeister also proved very recently that you don't have to win the Kentucky Derby or Preakness Stakes to really make an impact. He finished a very narrow second in both of those races, despite not starting until age 3. So sorry to bring that up for you, Aaron. I promise we won't have another discussion about that one. Head over to racingdudes.com for free picks for every race, every track around the country. Head over to YouTube channel, youtube.com/racingdudes for full coverage of the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. Hit like if you like the video, hit subscribe if you really like it. Tell us below in the comments, who's your long shot kind of under the radar horse that nobody's talking about? Maybe even Aaron's not talking about it yet. Let him know who that is. We'll see you at the track.
This has been a presentation of racingdudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels. Never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,